with the T.I. situation, if he did that, you're a rat too. I don't spare no motherfucker about it. Because if you doing anything wrong, you doing anything criminal-wise, and you cooperate with law enforcement to get you out of trouble, that means you're cooperating. That means you're a rat.
Question is you calling on the phone and talking on the phone with. Questioning you doing crime with. And questioning that you got the authorization to check. You can't check me. Stop talking to me. This ain't your restaurant. This ain't your restaurant. Everything you make, I can pull out my right now. I ain't tripping on you. I ain't tripping. Get the hell out of my face. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. Who the hell is he? What's your name? My name King. You know it and your mama know it.
What started as a heated back and forth between King Harris and Boosie seemed like nothing more than another hip-hop argument. Loud words, sharp insults, and social media theatrics. But what followed has spiraled into one of the most explosive scandals in recent memory. No one could have imagined that a war of words would lead to threats, shocking leaks, and a so-called snitch audio that is now circulating across the internet, leaving fans and critics completely stunned. This isn't just rap beef anymore, it's family pride, betrayal, and reputation on the line. And in the middle of all this chaos stands King Harris, the son of rap legend T.Y., desperately trying to carve his own name while accidentally stepping into waters too deep for him to swim in. It all started small. King, young and hot-headed, had been lashing out in interviews and live streams, trying to prove that he wasn't just another celebrity kid riding his parents' fame. He wanted people to know that he was built for the streets, that he had his own code and wasn't afraid of anybody. But the thing about talking tough in hip-hop is that sooner or later someone will test whether your words hold any weight. And in this case, that someone was Boosie, a rapper known for never biting his tongue and for calling things exactly how he sees them. Boosie had already been in the headlines for calling out industry figures, and when King Harris's name popped up, Boosie didn't hesitate to speak his mind.
With the T.I. situation, if he did that, you're a rat too. I don't spare no motherfucker about it. Because if you doing anything wrong, you doing anything criminal-wise, and you cooperate with law enforcement to get you out of trouble, that means you're cooperating. That means you're a rat.
At first, it seemed like Boosie was just clowning King. He made jokes about King being spoiled, about how he grew up in luxury while trying to act hard. The comments were sharp, biting, and they hit King where it hurt the most, his credibility. To someone like King, who had been fighting to prove himself outside of his father's shadow, those words weren't just jokes, they were daggers. And instead of ignoring them, King did what hot-headed young men do best. He fired back. On Instagram Live, King didn't just clap back. He went on a full-blown rant, calling out Boosie by name, threatening him in ways that shocked even his own followers.
Stop talking to me. This ain't your restaurant. This ain't your restaurant. Everything you make, I can pull out my right now. I ain't tripping on you. I ain't tripping. Get the hell out of my face. I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. Who the hell is he? What's your name? My name King. You know it and your mama know it.
His face red with anger, his voice trembling with emotion, King warned Boosie to keep his name out of his mouth or else things would get real. The internet blew up. Clips of King's rant spread across TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube within minutes. Fans debated whether King was serious or just posturing for attention. Some laughed, some shook their heads, and others genuinely worried that King was stepping into dangerous territory. Because threatening someone like Boosie isn't just internet chatter. Boosie has lived through real street wars, real violence, and real danger. To him, this wasn't child's play, and he wasn't about to let a younger rapper tarnish his name without consequences. And that's when things took a turn nobody expected. Instead of ignoring King's threats or replying with a simple diss track, Boosie came forward with something that would change the entire narrative. Out of nowhere, he claimed to have snitch audio, recordings that allegedly exposed King Harris in conversations that painted him as someone willing to give up information to protect himself. The moment Boosie dropped the hint about this audio, the internet erupted once again. Fans who had been laughing at King's rant suddenly sat up straight. If there was truth to what Boosie was saying, this wasn't just a beef anymore. It was a reputation killer. Within hours, snippets of the so-called Snitch audio began circulating online. Grainy, muffled, but clear enough to recognize the voice. The clip allegedly featured King speaking to someone about not wanting problems and hinting that he'd say what needs to be said if it meant keeping himself safe. Whether or not the audio was authentic didn't matter in that moment. Perception is everything. And in hip-hop, being labeled a snitch is one of the worst stains you can carry. Fans flooded comment sections, some mocking King, others demanding answers. The hashtags #SnitchKing and Boosie exposes King trended for hours. And King's world began to crumble in real time. Who had tried to stay quiet through most of his son's online antics, now found himself pulled into the storm. Reporters swarmed him outside events, asking if the audio was real, if his son was really caught saying things that could ruin his image forever. Tiny, King's mother, was reportedly devastated, begging her son to stay off social media and stop making things worse. But King, fueled by embarrassment and rage, refused to back down. He went live again, his face twisted with fury, insisting that the audio was fake, a setup by Boosie to make him look weak. He shouted into the camera, "That ain't me, man! Y'all trying to play with my name? Y'all want me to look like something I'm not." But the more he spoke, the less convincing he sounded. Boosie, never one to miss an opportunity, doubled down. He mocked King publicly, laughing at his denials, and even dared him to take a lie detector test if he really wanted to prove his innocence. The crowd was eating it up. Fans who once felt sympathy for King now questioned whether his tough guy image had been nothing more than an act. The damage was already done. The whispers had started, and in the world of rap, once whispers of snitching begin, they rarely fade away. Behind the scenes, things grew even more tense. Sources close to the Harris family said arguments broke out in their home. T.I. reportedly scolded King, warning him that these kinds of public blow-ups could ruin not only his career, but also the family's reputation.
My son. Think I ain't spoke to my son. Think I ain't told my son, his mama, and his grandmamas. His ass going to prison. If you goddamn keep this shit up, his ass going to prison. Ain't no way around it. Ain't nothing I'm gonna be able to do about it. Can't nobody stop it but him. You know what I mean? I've already had the conversation. I've already made my peace with it. Because I know that energy. I was that energy. I know exactly how it's gonna turn.
Tiny cried, worried that her son was digging himself deeper into a hole he couldn't climb out of. But King, stubborn and defiant, refused to admit he was wrong. To him, this was about pride. He wasn't going to let Boosie humiliate him, not in front of millions. Meanwhile, the internet sleuths went to work. Fans dissected the audio, analyzing every word, every pause, every breath. Some insisted it was definitely King's voice, pointing to past interviews and comparing the tone. Others argued it was doctored, that Boosie was known for stirring drama and would go to any lengths to win a beef. Conspiracy theories spread like wildfire. Some claimed the audio was old, from a private phone call that had been leaked without context. Others swore it was completely fabricated using AI voice tools. The truth became harder to pin down, but by then, the narrative had already spiraled beyond anyone's control. The story gained so much traction that even mainstream news outlets picked it up. Headlines screamed about King Harris being caught in a snitch scandal, while hip-hop blogs speculated about what this meant for his future. Industry insiders began weighing in, with some defending King and others siding with Boosie. It became the biggest talking point in rap for weeks, overshadowing new music releases and tours. Everyone had an opinion, but the one voice that people desperately wanted to hear was T.I.'s, the man who had built his career on street credibility and who now faced the nightmare of watching his son's name dragged through the mud. When T.I. finally broke his silence, it was with fire in his eyes. Standing outside a studio, surrounded by flashing cameras, he made it clear that he wasn't going to let his family's name be tarnished without a fight.
You know, me and his uncles, you know, we were perplexed by his necessity to go back and forth with a short order cook. I didn't understand why he felt he needed to stop what he was doing to engage someone who was at such another level of life. And I had to explain to him that, you know, when people are not living the way they hope they would live, and here you is walking in with so much freedom and luxury, and you know people gonna posture themselves a certain way. So therefore, you're gonna have to enjoy your life. You're gonna have to remove yourself from that energy and go enjoy your life.
Y'all playing with my boy's life, he said firmly. That audio? That ain't nothing but lies. Anybody can piece some clips together and make it sound like something it ain't. But let me be clear. Ain't nobody gonna call my son a snitch and get away with it.
Questioning is you calling on the phone and talking on the phone with. Questioning you doing crime with. And questioning that you got the authorization to check. You can't check me.
His words were sharp, but his tone betrayed something deeper. The fear of a father watching his son spiral out of control. Boosie, of course, wasn't intimidated. In fact, he seemed to relish in the attention. He kept posting, kept laughing, kept fueling the fire. For him, this was entertainment, another battle in a career built on controversy. For King, though, this was personal. Every new post, every new meme felt like salt in an open wound. He became more erratic online, threatening again, lashing out at fans who questioned him, and even daring people to come see him in person if they really thought he was soft. The cycle of anger, denial, and embarrassment only deepened. What makes this entire scandal so shocking isn't just the feud itself, but the layers of emotion wrapped around it. At its core, this isn't just about rap beef. This is about a young man trying to step out of his father's shadow, about pride, about identity, and about the crushing weight of public perception. King Harris, in trying to prove he was his own man, may have walked straight into a trap that could define him for years to come. And Boosie, with his relentless need to expose and embarrass, has ensured that this story won't disappear anytime soon. As things stand now, the so-called snitch audio continues to spread, dissected in every corner of the internet. King remains defiant, T.I. remains protective, and Boosie remains unbothered, watching the storm he unleashed swirl bigger every day. Fans are left divided, unsure who to believe, but certain of one thing. This scandal is one of the wildest to hit hip-hop in years. And as long as King and Boosie keep throwing fuel on the fire, the drama is far from over. Because in the end, whether the audio is real or fake almost doesn't matter anymore. The damage has been done. King Harris has been labeled, tested, and dragged into the unforgiving court of public opinion. His threats may have sparked this war, but it's the leaked audio that has left scars he might never fully heal from. And for T.I. watching it all unfold, the pain isn't just about reputation, it's about a father watching his son get swallowed by a game that chews up even the strongest and spits them out broken. This is bigger than rap. This is family. This is pride. This is survival. And for King Harris, the battle has only just begun.